realized that if there was really a God, because I'm Christian Orthodox, right? There really was a God, he really didn't care about us, right? To be honest with you, like, for me, it was, I was always fascinated. Like, I remember in grade 5, I remember going to my school library, and I got this book, and I saw a picture of a lady, it was like a ghostly figure walking down the stairs, and I have that vivid picture in my mind from like when I was young, right? And I was always into like horror movies, you know, scary stuff, right? So that's kind of what got me into it, and I kind of fell out in my teenage years because other stuff took more precedence, right? And then when my grandmother passed away, I basically tried to make contact, right? And I didn't really get anything. And I really just sat back and really evaluated how my life had gone until that point. And I realized that not that it was like bad overall, but, and obviously I made my own mistakes, but I realized that if there was really a God, because I'm Christian Orthodox, right? There really was a God, he really didn't care about us, right? So it's just easier to believe that there wasn't a God, right? So I kind of started getting into science at that point a lot more, right? And like trying to figure out the universe and all that. And I was always really big into mythology, right? So I got to study Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology, a little bit of Roman mythology to see their gods and stuff, right? So it was just always a passion of mine. So when I started talking to Sean about the idea, right? I've wanted to do it for years, right? And just, I wouldn't say it never felt right, but it was just like, it seemed like the people around me that I wanted to bring with me just weren't really the people that wanted to do that style of stuff, right? So when I told Sean my idea, and he really got behind it, I was like, all right, so obviously you're the person I'm supposed to deal with to kind of put this thought into like reality, right? So, but yeah, ideally, I do want to believe, right? I want to find something. I want to see something, right? And that's the plan in the long run. But until that happens, I guess we'll just have to hope that. Yeah. You know, it's just like I find like with the YouTube world, right? Obviously, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, right?
Yes.
You know, it's video. People post videos up every day and they have to like, okay, it's an hour-long video or an hour and a half or 2 hours, right? Like they have to make it look interesting enough for you to sit there and watch, right? It's like a movie, like basically, right? But there's a lot of people that believe that it's real life, right? You know what I mean? It's not a movie, it's real life, right? So I bank on like the fact that if it gets to the point where I see something that I can't refute, then I can start sharing the knowledge of like it is real, right? Like
I understand.
And I think that's kind of what I want with the whole thing. But obviously, at the same time, it's also fun, you know. Like,
it's lots of fun. Yeah.
You know, going to haunted places, you don't know what you're gonna see, what you're gonna hear, and it's also creative, right? Sean does a great job with the editing part and makes it look really cool. And you know, we get there and we're like, what can we do to make this video even better than the last one, right? So it's a creative process, and hopefully along the way we actually find out the truth, right? And that's kind of what we're hoping for. But
it would be lovely. But I think the truth is going to be a big surprise for all of us. I do, and we won't know until it's over there.
But yeah, and
because God, the God that we grew up with, we sang all those songs, you know, God sees a little sparrow fall, something about Keats' tender view. If God so loved the little ones, why wouldn't he love you too? Like, we were raised to believe in a loving God.
Yeah.
But the older you get and the more you know about the world, you know that that's not the case.
Yeah.
If there was a loving God, why
like,
would we have addicts and homeless people all over the place?
Yeah. And to be honest with you, even in Christianity or religion, like the Old Testament, God was very wrathful.
He was a jerk, eh? Yeah.
He was pretty wrathful, like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it got to the point where it's like when like they brought out the Bible and they kind of went to the New Testament, they kind of wanted to take away his like flaws, right?
Reputation.
Like you look at like in the Old Testament you have Adam and Eve, right? Which were considered the first two people on earth, right? And they had 74 kids or something. I can't remember the exact number, but they got together and they started. So incest was very, very popular in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
And then at some point, towards the New Testament, they took out incest, right? Very bad, right?
Because people were learning.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So, and then of course other stories that like that are older, like Mesopotamia time, like which was like about 2,000-3,000 years before Christianity, right? Christianity period, like Old Testament, like not even before Christ, like 5,000 years before Christ, right? So they had like we were just actually watching a video not too long ago, the epic tales of Gilgamesh.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
that sounds good.
Gilgamesh was the fifth king, I want to say, of Mesopotamia, and he had a story where Gilgamesh was like half god, basically. He was like half god, half human kind of thing. And he had the time the goddess of love had approached him to have kids, and he turned her down. So she got angry and told her father, who was the king of the gods, and he had sent the what was it called, the bull of the gods, I think, or something, which was like basically their winning soldier, basically, like a bull of the gods, right? To kill him, right? And they fought for like 5 days or something, and they couldn't beat each other, so they became friends. And that angered the king of the gods even more. So he ended up sending another soldier down to battle him, and Gilgamesh's friend got brutally injured and was about to die, right?
Yeah.
So he set on a journey to find I'm gonna probably butcher this name, but a guy named Ipetitian, I want to say, which was technically the first Noah version of Noah.
Okay.
Right? So he had survived the flood, and God saved him, basically, same as he did with Noah, right? So he was immortal, technically, right? So he sent out to find him to figure out how he could save his friend. And after he did find him, he said only God can save your friend, right? So, but it's just funny that a lot of the similarities, like Ipetitian, which was Noah, basically, he survived the flood. Yeah. A lot of the storylines are very similar, right? So it's interesting to know, like, what did Christianity take and change, and what is really their stories, right? Like, did they just take that story from somewhere else and just change a few names?
They had to, exactly.
Right? And another thing, actually, what we're attempting to do. So we're in our second season now for paranormal investigation, and we're ending the season with there's a haunted forest out in Critters Lane. It's by Woodstock area. Yeah. So we went there. That was our last episode for season 1, but we're going there for season 2 as our last episode, and we're attempting to summon the demon. Right? Okay. So it's interesting because Sean obviously is a believer, so when I brought him this idea, he was very opposed to it. But I'm like,
I can understand
it's something that not a lot of people have tried, right? And not a lot of people have executed on the internet. So it's something for us to definitely aim for, like, our popularity. But at the same time, it's something to prove to people that it's all depending on, like, what you believe, right? So the demon we're trying to summon is Beelzebub.
Okay.
Right. So if you believe in Christianity, he's the Lord of the Flies, one of the 7 fallen angels from heaven, and second to Satan, or Lucifer. Right. But if you believe in Mesopotamia times, which was prior to Christianity,
right,
he was the Lord of healing.
That's crazy, isn't it? Really? Yeah.
So it's like, it's really depending what you believe in,
yeah,
of like what you're gonna get. So
do you ever use a Ouija board?
Yes, on all of it.
Yeah? Okay, I'll make a deal with you.
What's that?
I'll do it with you.
Okay.
People who don't understand spirit should never play with Ouija board. Because a friend of mine, as a teenager, they were playing with a Ouija board, and one girl actually levitated off her chair.
Well, that's what we want on camera.
Oh, so you're looking for mischievous spirit.
We're looking for anything. As I said, like I'm a non-believer, but I want to believe.
Okay.
So I need to find that, right? Like I want to have beyond a shadow of a doubt that there's proof. It really comes down to, like, I understand I'm getting older, and I got maybe half my life's pretty much over. You know what I mean? So I want to know, is there something after here, or am I just gonna be dirt on the ground right now?
I got a lot more time invested in this bullshit thing called life than you do. And I've been looking, and I've been looking, and I've tried this, and I've tried this, and I've tried this, and I've tried this. To me, the bottom line is, it's going to be a surprise for all of us,
for sure,
right? But I think if you can tap into your own soul, okay, like science has proven that there's a 2.7 gram.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they've decided that must be the soul. A lot of these meditations that we do, we talk about going into that, sitting in the power is what we call it, and actually listening to your soul.